What's a hero? A sports star? A celebrity? What about an ordinary person who steps up and meets adversity with hope? In my new book, Be the One, I set out to meet these unsung heroes who conquer their hardships with fierce determination. Tonight, we introduce you to some of these extraordinary young people. Michaela Sanderson is living a life many her age only dream of. Married last year to her high school sweetheart, both graduates of the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, both with careers they love.
Welcome to our new humble abode.
Nice. They just bought their first home, a loft in one of Atlanta's trendiest new neighborhoods.
As you can tell, we got a little bit of work to do.
What's the vision? What's the dream?
White walls, a lot of painting, so painting everything.
But what's so remarkable about this young woman isn't where she landed, but the road she took to get here.
Life is pretty good for you guys right now.
It is, yeah.
How do you explain it?
I don't know. A lot of perseverance, a lot of prayer.
And an equal measure of grit. Michaela Sanderson was born dirt poor in rural Alabama. She and her twin, the youngest of 7. Her mother, she says, battled drug abuse and the demons of mental illness.
Didn't always have running water or heat in her home or, the best food on the table.
Michaela is one of 6 young people profiled in my new book, Be the One. Wounded souls who found hope within.
For my mom's drug use, it was mostly like sleeping pills and things like that, or prescription pills.
And there was that one night when her mother's exhausting struggle with depression, bipolar disorder, and epilepsy hit rock bottom.
I was 11 years old. For some reason, I hid the gun from her, and she kept asking me where it was. It was waking me up in the middle of the night. And she kept pushing, and so eventually I told her where it was and just kind of fell back asleep. Then I woke up to the gun cocking. So I ran in there immediately. It felt like forever trying to talk her out of doing this. She moved the gun around like from her heart to her head, and it was just kind of, I don't know, I guess just kind of gaming me. I'm not sure. She eventually put it to her stomach and did pull the trigger while I was in the room.
Her mother survived, but Michaela and her twin sister were placed in foster care. By her senior year in high school, she had been to 9 different schools. Bruised but not broken, she graduated top of her high school class while holding down a full-time job.
How many hours a week did you work?
It was up to like 36 hours a week. My schedule really looked like school, then coming home applying for scholarships, and then working. I was very much determined to get to college.
How'd you do all that?
Just a lot of hard work, a lot of determination.
Where's it come from, you think?
For me, there was no choice not to be that way.
Any of one thing that happened, you had happened to someone else, it would have broken them.
Mm-hmm.
Ever break your faith?
Never broke my faith.
Faith is something Michaela and I share. My own childhood challenges shaped me as well. My late mom, Clarice Pitts, had her first child at 17, me before she finished high school. I didn't learn to read until I was 12, spoke with a stutter until I was 20. Still, I only wish I had the tenacity of Michaela and the others in Be the One. When you told me that story about you and your classmates had to run home that day when the explosions, how old were you?
When that started, I was about 10.
Oriam Papi Rizabuka was 10 years old when his country, the Congo, was ravaged by war. Papi saw classmates murdered, relatives raped and tortured. So his father had an idea: sell one of his cows and send his boy in search of a better life outside of Congo. You and your friends walked from Congo to South Africa?
Yes, we worked.
How long did it take you?
Yeah, it took about 2.5 years, actually.
You survived wild animals, drug dealers, sex traffickers, starvation. How'd you do it?
It wasn't by my own power. I believe there is a higher power that protected us.
In Be the One, I ask each one central question.
Where did you go? Where did you hide when the world hurt too much?
In a dark room, crying, maybe before bed. I guess it was my safe place. No one could see me crying if everyone else was asleep. So I just do it really quietly so nobody would hear me.
And she kept going. Graduated college in 3 years, her master's degree in 1. With all she's overcome, life had another heartbreak. She's been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Did you ever think, dang it, I've been through so much in my life?
Yeah, I was like, well, I thought I was done with this. But I was probably in that place for a couple days and then realized that there was a MS walk. And so I was like, well, I'm going to raise some money and I'm going to get a team together and fight for a cure.
The average person would have been angry, would have, at the very least, felt sorry for themselves?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Didn't have time for that.
There is an African proverb that sums up Michaela Sanderson's grit. When you pray, move your feet. No telling where you might end up. As a storyteller, as a reporter, I'm always looking for metaphors, right? So what's the metaphor of this place, you think, for you guys, for you?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's authenticity.
I just keep thinking home. I think it'll be, feel like home for us. It'll be, you know, what a home feels like, safe.